you so much for joining me today. My name is Sasha Reade, and today I've got a fun tutorial where we're going to make some shakerless shaker cards. So I've seen other people do this technique where you can get your laminator out, get your laminating pouches out, and you can laminate stuff that you would typically put in a shaker card to make a flat card so that it's easier and cheaper to post and that it's not as big and puffy. So I thought I'd have a go. So I got out some sequins, I got out my glitters, which are in this box, and I just started having to play and having some fun. I didn't actually watch any tutorials. I've seen this pop up on my YouTube feed ages ago. I've seen other people talk about doing it. I've never actually watched anyone do it. I have no idea what I'm doing, so I'm just having to go and going for it. So I put some glitter down. As you can see, I put way too much glitter. I honestly only poured a little bit on, and a little bit goes a long way. So you can see I'm running it through my laminator, and it's not really laminating. There's so much glitter that the laminator is basically sticking to the glitter but not to itself. So I've got this pack here, and you can see the glitter's like floating around in the middle of it, and then there's glitter all over my desk, and it didn't actually even seal. So I've got that end there was open. So I thought, okay, we'll have another go. So I got out some Tim Holtz Distress glitter, or Ranger Distress glitter, and some sequins, and I thought I'd try that. Now with sequins, you need to be careful that you're using quite flat ones. You don't want to be using any kind of dimensional shaker bits, because obviously that's going to jam inside your laminator, so you got to be really careful of that. So I tried this one and stuck it in, and this is where it goes wrong. So it jammed. It just ate it. It literally just ate it. So I thought, okay, I'll put a few more sequins in and try again. And now the annoying thing is that it's really staticky, so it flips all your sequins onto the sides, and you spend all this time flattening them back down again. So again, I run it through, try it out again, and look, it's not coming out the other end. So I get this idea. I'll get my iron. So I set it to the lowest setting, just to see, and I'm pushing as hard as I can while putting that lowest setting on, and I'm gradually turning it up and turning it up and turning it up, because it's just not doing that much, and it wasn't really working. I wasn't getting the right kind of pressure, so I was getting quite a bubbly effect. But I thought, never mind, we'll try again. So I got this one back out and tried to iron this one flat, but I turned it too hot by this point, so it was all shriveling. So I was almost ready to give up. And then I remembered that, okay, I could try some smaller ones. Let's see if smaller does better in my laminator, and if my laminator doesn't try to eat them. So I do this process, and it does work with this smaller one, but it only worked a couple times. So I go and I stick it through, which was a lot less faff than the big ones, and it comes out the other end, which is great. That is exactly what I was looking to achieve. But as I keep going and keep trying a few more and a few more, I then start to getting them jamming again. And now the problem with the small pieces of laminator paper is that when it jams, it's pretty impossible to get out. I had to get my tweezers in there and try and get them to grip as hard as I could to get those little sheets out. So I gave up. After these two worked, my next ones didn't work, so I just gave up. And then I remembered I had the thicker laminating pouches. So this is 250 micron, which is double the original one that I used. And this, my friends, is the trick to laminating your glitter and sequins. You must use the thicker laminating papers or plastics. It then worked every single time I put it through. So again, I used a very, very small amount of glitter, like I would put salt on dinner, is kind of what I did with this. I would just put a small amount. But the thicker pouches made all the difference. That is what worked a right treat. So, lesson learned, you can learn through Sasha. Make sure you've got the thicker laminating pouches, not the thin ones. You want 250 microns, and you want to limit how much you're putting inside them to get this effect to work out for you. So I thought I would share with you all my failures, just so you could see how they failed and why they failed, along with the obvious winner. So we've got the thicker laminating pouches, and we're getting the result we want. So I did a few different ones. I did some blue glitter, I did silver glitter, I did iridescent, I did gold, and then I did a few with sequins and a few with some shaped sequins, as well as this distress glitter again. So I did quite a few, and I did probably half of them off camera, just so I didn't bore you with doing this sort of same old thing of sprinkling all these down. Now the sequins were still a bit annoying. It wasn't as staticky with the thicker one as it was with the thin one, but they do still like to try and move on you when you go and shut that cover over. But I found if you roll it over the top rather than just letting it lie flat onto it, it actually doesn't curve them as much, and it's just much easier to work with. So I ran it through a couple times on all of them just to make sure I got a nice sealed look. Now these are all the results of them. This was my messed up one that I had. I've got my gold, and then this is the iridescent with some star sequins or flower sequins. This is black. I did black with some stars just to see what it would look like. I held it up against a piece of white cardstock just so you can see the results. And I've held it up against some black as well, just so you got that contrast and you can see the difference between them. This is that blue, and I really actually like how it turned out. When you chop it up into card fronts, it's quite cool. This is the same blue, but it's on the black background for your eyes. And this is the iridescent white. So I've got these dies, which are my new dies from hot off the press, and they are really cool oval dies that are fantastic for doing a sort of black background. What is the word I'm looking for? I'll put it on the screen. Brain's just not working. So I die cut the same die out of white cardstock as well as black cardstock, just to give it a bit of contrast. Now I do change my plan, so carry on watching because you'll see what I do with this card in the end. But my original thought was that I was going to stick this bit of white on, put my black mousse in the middle, and then stick the other white bit of card on the back so I could have a see-through sort of shaker card. But it didn't really work out as planned because I didn't think it through so well. So you can see me adhering that first oval to the front of my card with my shaker element in the back, my Shakerless shaker. And then I get my black cards base ready, and how I do it is that I just measure what would fit around my die, and I cut my base to fit my die. So I can't remember exactly what the measurements were, but then I decided that I would then adhere my white piece to the back without thinking fully through what I was doing. And I think I realized I would have needed to have cut a hole through the black as well. I just hadn't thought it through, but I will work on a little plan to come up with how I'm going to have a nice see-through card. This is where I'm thinking it through, and I'm trying to work it out. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to put the back on. Now we've got our see-through shaker card, which we'll be able to look straight through, and we'll see the mousse on the front, and we can see our sentiment in the back. But I'm using a black card base because I really liked how that looked with the mousse, and I really liked how the blue glitter kind of really stood out against that black cardstock. So you can see I'm putting the mousse down, and then I quickly work out that, oh, wait a minute, there's glue all over the back of the mousse. So with my see-through shaker card, it now looks really ugly from the back. And I'm sure once the glue dries, it's actually not too bad. But at this point, I decided, you know what? We don't know what we're doing. We're just going to glue it on the card base, and we're just going to carry on. So I did not need to stick that second white oval on the back. That was just a silly error. But it works anyways, and you don't know that I've stuck that second one on unless you've watched this video. So I'm moving on to my next card. I will finish off that first card in a few minutes. I wanted to get them all stuck down to the bases first and then finish off decorating them. So I'm going ahead and I'm applying my next black oval onto my gold glittered background. And this time I got a bit more clever and I used some double-sided sticky sheets, the Dot and Dab cheap double-sided sticky sheets, and ran my die through with that on the back. So that is fully adhesive now. And all I have to do is just pop it inside that oval, and it was super quick and super simple and easy. And everything just sticks down really nice and beautiful. So I didn't have to worry at all about gluing all those little tiny fiddly bits when I've got all my adhesive already stuck on the back. And then also on the back side, it's beautiful. So I could have done a see-through shaker card with this one. However, I'm just sticking it right onto my black base again because I'm loving how that's looking. And again, I'm just using a really strong liquid glue adhesive to stick all my laminated sheets down with, and these didn't come off at all, so they worked really nice. Now moving on to my last card that I'm showing the tutorial for. I have got loads of samples at the end. I am doing the same again, but this time I have got the silver, I believe, and I've got this silver foil card, which is from Tonic Studios. It's a textured foil card. And again, I got smart and put the adhesive on the back of those branches so I could just easily adhere it to the laminated piece. And then I adhere it to my card. Now this is where I start realizing that I don't like how that white is looking. So I thought, given my cardstock is black and my background is easily wipe offable, I'm just going to color it blue. Because I could. So I brought in my Tim Holtz Distress ink and decided to color that and make it a bit darker, and I felt like that looked a lot better than the white. The white was just too different. So I like how that turned out in the end. And to finish it off, I got some of that silver foil, the tonic silver foil that I just shared with you, and I cut really fine strips of it, and I'm just sticking a strip to each end of the card just to give it a bit more character and define the edges a bit more. So again, I'm just using my strong liquid glue and applying that foil to the edge. Now with that same foil, I'm going to then take some more, so with the same foil, I'm going to then take these snowflake dies. I've also stuck some more of that double-sided adhesive on the back of my little snowflake pieces. So this is all like, I've made my own little sticker sheets out of it. So I've die cut out the snowflakes. I've also got this word believe, which is another one of the sets from hot off the press. And I have done that one in a previous video, and it was left sat on my desk, so I thought I would use it on this card. So I'm just adhering down the little snowflakes and kind of overlapping them a little bit along that edge. And then I'm going to just use some liquid glue and stick down my word believe onto the top. And I do come back and finish off this card with some pearls from my stash, and I stick them all on the snowflakes, which you'll see in a minute. So here are 3 finished cards that we've got made with Shakerless shakers. So I had quite a lot of fun with it in the end, and I've got loads left over. So I have got them all in a nice neat pile, cut up to be card fronts. And then that way I can just grab them if I want to do a nice flat card and use them in the post. Now this one I added some Nouveau drops on, some red Nouveau drops, and all my sentiments are from Tailored Expressions Simple Strips. So I just added those onto the top, and I keep them in a little jar on my desk, ready to go. And there's my pearls. You can see I've added onto the top of my snowflakes there to finish off that card. So I've got a few more to share with you that I carried on and finished off camera, using up some more of my DIY glitter non-shaker card. I don't know what to call it. So I've got a few more samples to share with you here in the video. I really do appreciate you coming to watch me today. Please do like and subscribe and drop me a little comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. I absolutely love reading all your comments. I've had a bit of a blip in life over some bit of difficult times, but we're getting on with life. But that's why I haven't replied to as many comments lately. So I do apologize that I've not been replying to comments, but I have read every one of your comments, and now I'm trying to work my way through replying to them. So these are some of the manger cards that I used with the die, and I just stuck them together nice and easy. This says Merry Christmas. It's really hard to catch on camera, but you'll see some photos at the end, and it looks really gorgeous with those little blue sequins behind. And this one, I did add some Wink of Stella to the die cut, so it stood out a little bit more from the background, and I added on some Nouveau drops, which I'm pretty sure they were clear, and they seemed to absorb the black behind and made it this crazy green color. But I actually quite like it. So those are all my cards for today. I hope you had fun. I hope you feel inspired. I would love to hear from you, and I so appreciate you coming to watch me and being a part of my YouTube journey. I'm grateful for your support and your love, and I would love to see you in the next video. So take care.